Today marks 1 year since a submersible imploded on its way to the Titanic wreckage. 5 people died that day. That submersible was operated by the Everett-based company OceanGate, which has since suspended all operations. A new Wired report is shedding light on the creation of the submersible. And in their reporting, Wired uncovered tens of thousands of emails, documents, and photographs showing how the company cut corners and how the submersible failed a number of stress tests. But the company pushed forward with that fateful dive. And the report that the CEO even refused to get a safety certification, saying that the process was too expensive. Now, according to Wired, these are just some of the issues that contributed to the deadly implosion, and the investigation into what went wrong is taking longer than expected. The Coast Guard says they need a couple of more months before they can release their findings. And another thing we haven't heard much of, lawsuits against the company. Joining us now, personal injury attorney Miguel Custodio joining us live. Miguel, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Doing well. So 1 year later, and we have not seen any legal action in this case. The families of the victims haven't filed any lawsuits. Why is that?
Well, I really think that the plaintiffs or the families are waiting for the Coast Guard to release their findings. Once they do that, I think they will go forward in a civil lawsuit. And because of the statute of limitations, 1 year after this disaster, they're still fine.
Gotcha. So the waiver that the passengers signed does seem to outline the risks involved. But, I was talking about that Wired report showing that OceanGate cut corners, failed tests before they went down there. And these were paying customers. They paid a lot of money to go on that trip. What kind of evidence would hold up in court here?
Well, generally, waivers are upheld by courts. But waivers, you can't get out of gross negligence. And from what we know from various reports, there was a lawsuit filed in 2018 by a prior OceanGate employee. This Wired article sheds a lot of light on a lot of corners that were cut, safety measures that were not met, certifications that were just not done because of budget constraints. That can overcome any waiver that a plaintiff a decedent would have signed.
That's interesting. What about this happening in international waters? Does that hurt or help the chances for families getting justice?
Well, it would matter where the waiver was signed. And so where the waiver was signed would have jurisdiction. So it does not really matter that it was in international waters.
Okay, so OceanGate is out of business, and if there is a criminal case or a civil suit from the families of the victims, who would they go after here?
They would go after the insurance companies that insured the company. In any civil lawsuit, if you're suing a company and that company goes bankrupt or they close, there was still insurance at the time that this incident happened, and so the plaintiffs would be able to go after the insurance company.
So that submersible implosion 1 year ago today. Personal injury attorney Miguel Custodio, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.